Today I'm going to be talking about Robo-Ky. I'm going to be kind of guiding you through some of his stuff. I know it's like day 4 of him being out, but I've noticed he's a bit janky and people are kind of having a hard time learning him. And I don't have him Vanquisher. I don't have him in there quite yet, but I think I do have some good tips and tricks for those of you who want to learn. So let's get into it. What I want to talk about first is the electricity gauge. I'm just going to keep this part short and not 2 segments. First segment is what to do if you're ever at level 1. And this is simple. You have 2 options here. You either wait with Matt, or you go in and try to get hit and end it with Segue. You don't want to do both. I know you're probably thinking, like, well, can't I just do both? Can't I just charge a little bit, then go in and with Segue? And my answer with that is not really, since Robo-Ky's meter is really weird. When he uses Segue, it'll use 2 bars. So if you build up less than 2 bars when you're on Matt, it'll just be for nothing, since it'll go away once you use Segue. You'll still get the meter, but you just kind of wasted the match doing this. So next segment is how to keep your meter at level 2 or above so you don't get into that situation. And all I can really say here is just incorporate that into your combos. It's kind of just simple, like even though I ended with Segue that doesn't recharge your meter, what was that, like 60? I ended at like 60 before I placed the second Matt down. So you just should be smart about your combo routes. You shouldn't just always go for damage in your combos. You should always look for some way to set Matt down. And if you can't, just end it in Segue. Okay, so next I'm going to talk about his block strings and kind of to get past false defense. So Robo-Ky is kind of a victim to false defense. I actually don't have him on false defense. Hold on. There we go. And right there I was right next to him with my 2K duty, but if I'm not right up next to him, it'll completely whiff. And what I recommend doing here, if this situation ever does happen, don't panic and just do nothing, since you'll be minus 14. There's nothing wrong with just disengaging with this. And depending on what level you're at, like I was plus 2 there. But if I'm level 1, I'm minus 6, but minus 6 doesn't really matter from that distance. So if that ever does happen, just disengage. But you also should just recognize if they're false defensing or not, since 2K duty into this is really good. And it can set up for your command grab mix-up, not your mix-up, your 50-50. And to actually get past someone who is using false defense, I recommend labbing some situations where you can start your block string off with this. Something like this. That was actually too early. Or too late. That was too late again. And because if you do this, it's projectile, and false defense does not work on projectile, so you will not get pushed back. One thing you do have to be wary of, though, is your cancel timing, since you have to pretty much know when the missile is going to hit, since if you do your special cancel too early, it won't come out, since, you know, the move hasn't hit. So I recommend just labbing those situations to get past false defense. And next I'm going to be talking about his block strings, so I'll get to that. Alright, so block strings next. First and foremost, I do recommend in any sort of Robo-Ky block string, always keep it to 2 specials. You don't want to keep spamming your special. It's kind of like an Asuka situation. You don't just want to keep throwing cubes at them, because then you'll get burned out, and then you'll have to wait till you get your meter back. So now what level you're at, I mean, if you're at max, I feel like you can be a bit more lenient. But if you're at like 50 like I am right now, I just recommend to keep it down to 2 special moves, since any more and you'll be in pretty dangerous territory. So first and foremost, this is not really a good block string. Like, only thing you can get off this is segue, and I told you how committal that is. You don't really want that. So what you should be looking for is, once you go for close slash, or you go for 2H, to either go for Pony or Lucky Launcher. I recommend going for Pony after 2H, since that's a frame trap, and this isn't. I think the only thing Pony is not susceptible to when it comes to mashing is 2H. So, and I do recommend going for Pony more than Lucky Launcher, since Lucky Launcher basically does no damage. Hold on. Like, yeah, basically just kind of does nothing. That was like level 2. So what I recommend for doing mostly is going for Pony when you can, since your options are a lot more free there when it comes to mix-ups. Once you get Lucky Launcher, when you have options, yeah, you can either go for, you know, your command grab, or you can, you know, go for a combo if they're not respecting it. So I'll show you some Pony mix-ups right now. So here's an option you can use if you want to cross them up. This is a pretty good option, but one bad thing about Robo-Ky is that his air normals, you either got to get a counter hit for it to actually lead into anything, since unlike most characters, if he IEDs his air normals, he can be at best +4, I think. I'm IEDing this and I'm just +2, and the reason that's so important is that even if I continue like a block string after this, if they're not using false defense and I'm right up next to them, or I make it so he just does normal block, make it so he throws, I go for this, try to continue my block string, I get punished. No matter what move I do, hold on. Best I can do is grab tech, but like, if they don't grab you, you're gonna whiff your grab, since they're still gonna be in throw and bull. Even this, I'm just going for my 5P or 2Ps right now. I'm still getting punished, even off this, which is +4. Like, you don't want to IED much with this character, is basically what I'm saying. So if you do land this, I need to make it so it hits right now. Sorry for the inconvenience. Make it so it hits. You should always just go for a Roman cancel, since you're not going to really get a combo off it unless you maybe get a counter hit. Let me see if I can make up something on the fly with a counter hit. Yeah, if you get a counter hit, you can get your / B&B, basically. And that's pretty much all you can do unless you want a Roman cancel, since there's no other moves that are that far reaching. Maybe you can't go into Lucky Launcher, yeah. So I don't know why I made this segment so long, but if you do land this mix-up, just go for a Roman cancel. If you do get the hit, it'll maximize your actual damage, because if you just get a raw, you crossed up, and that's about it. So, on to the next one. Alright, next one is a bit of a turn stealer. So, the important thing about Robo-Ky is that after 2k duty, you usually really don't want to mash, since that's a frame trap. I think some of these can be, I think he can even backdash Lucky Launcher, but you usually do not want to be pressing buttons when he goes for 2k duty. And so, a cool little thing I discovered is that if you delay, you might have to lab this one a bit out since the time is kind of tight. Yeah, you can steal your turn by them respecting your 2k duty with your command grab. Time is kind of tight, but it's pretty good nonetheless. Next one, you've probably seen before. I think I've seen some YouTubers do this one, but basically just once you do your pony after you get your 2H, usually what I see people do is this into this. And this is all good and all. I've hit some people doing this too, but to actually make it a actual mix-up is to do pony and prematurely do jumping heavy slash to cancel your jumping slash. And sorry, I don't know why I'm struggling to say this. It's kind of a tongue twister. And immediately go for your low. So, and you get a full. So, but the only downside to this is you're left extremely less plus than you would be if you just kept going. So if I do this, I'm +7, but if I cancel it, I'm +4. I've been +2 sometimes before. So then you're kind of also in a situation where you can get grabbed out of it. So let me make him guard again. Or not guard, throw again. So I try this. If I can do it, I can get punished if they see through me. I can get punished just by doing that. So you don't want to go for this too much, since you know it's a pretty easy counterplay. Alright, next I'm just gonna kind of talk about his combo structure. His combo structures or his combo routes can kind of be really inconsistent. He's almost as bad as Biken when it comes to how much he can drop combos for like stupid reasons. Mainly when it comes to like when you want to end it off with segue. Like if they're airborne and you hit him with this, sometimes segue can just drop for some reason. Like its hitbox is really weird. And basically I kind of just have two things here. Once you're actually in a combo, this move goes out the window. Never use this. Always use crouching slash. Because this can like hover them a bit and leave them more open to this. While I've done this sometimes, and the farce or the heavy slash will just whiff. Because this does not hover them as much as 2S does. So let me see if I can get an example. See, like that. Like, since bar slash does not juggle as much as 2H, that will drop. So I'm going to show you what the combo should look like. Something like that. You can add it however you want. Alright, I think that's about all I have. Sorry if you were expecting more. This character did just come out, so I just kind of shared some little tips and tricks and what you should actually be thinking about and what you shouldn't be thinking about too much, and how you can actually mix them up. So I guess if you like the video, leave a like. Subscribing might be good. I don't know, I'm not really committed to this kind of stuff, but you know, you're free to do whatever you want. So I'll see you in the next one, if there is a next one.